Metal Man.
This is fucking Lenny Murphy cutting throats with Metal Mayhem, yo.
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's Murder Metal Mayhem!
Hell yeah, that is a new band I've been jamming the shit out of called Miscreants from Italy. My brethren across the pond there.
Right.
The song Fall Apart. Those guys are sick as hell. Definitely remind me a lot of Death in their more progressive phase, like the individual thought pattern, symbolic era. Definitely really a great band. So go give them a listen. They got a new album just came out called Convergence that is just ridiculously good. I mean, every track.
I have to check that shit out.
Really, really good. Miscreants. So, all right.
Italy.
Now
How
we
long
are
have they been
going
around?
not that long. I think this is their second album, or they had like an EP. Then this is the full length. So I don't think for that long, but I'm not sure. Now we're going to be talking about a good one tonight, as we've been saying, the roving band of murderous gangsters known as the Shankill Butchers.
See, it says Skankill in my notes.
Skankill, yeah, I see that now. Subliminal, yeah. That's hilarious. They were part of an extreme political movement in Northern Ireland from 1975 to 1982. And they opposed, the other part of Ireland. And we're going to get into all that. It's a little confusing, at least it was to me. I really had to read this article that I found on the History Channel's website that was very good at explaining what all the drama was about. So I'll talk about that later. But we're going to get into that. And these guys hated Catholics. I mean, holy shit.
Because of all the fucking child fucking.
I mean, I don't know, but it was just the Protestants and the Catholics, and the Catholics were in the minority in Northern Ireland, so they were like getting singled out. And these guys are kidnapping people right off the fucking street, torturing them, murdering them in some of the most nasty fucking ways. I mean, knives, hatchets.
Some just drive up and just pop you there in the street and take off.
Yeah, I mean, these guys were just really vicious. And the more extreme, I think, of course, to convey their message, the better. So we're going to talk about it. It's, believed that they've killed at least 23. And we're about to get into a very nasty, bloody one for you tonight. So it's going to be good. Now, I'd like to mention, anytime you get into something like this, we're not taking sides in this argument. We don't have a dog in that fight. Okay?
No, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't want to get, we've got a lot of UK listeners, and I don't want to get anybody all fired up. We are not taking sides. That's your guys' deal, and that is what it is. But I will do the very best I can, as unbiased as I can, to explain how I get this whole drama with Ireland,
right,
and the fighting that was going on at that time. Very, very tumultuous time. Now, Chris, these guys are like a smarter version of the Chihan cannibal clan. So,
I don't know how they got away with it for so long, honestly. Fucking killing that many people so indiscriminately. Like, I don't know. But yeah, they're pretty fucking brutal.
Yeah, brutal, but definitely a little smarter than those. Because remember the Chihan gang, they were kind of dumb. They did some stupid shit. So,
just hanging out all day in that house and shit.
Yeah, I mean, the little pink house. So we did that one not that long ago, Chihan Cannibal Clan. If you missed it, that's a good episode. But these guys are like a little smarter version of that. Okay?
Minus the cannibalism.
Right, that's true. Now, Joey, I know you've been fiending for brutality, and I hope that the work of the Shankill Butchers does it for you tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited to do this one. It's a pretty good topic. It's been on our list for a bit.
It has.
The Page a Day, I did a Page a Day where they talked about it one time too, but just a little snippet.
I do remember that.
But we already had it on the list that we were going to do it, so I'm really glad.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, I'm Irish, so that's fucking, cool for me to do one from my neck of the wood.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And our viewers on our YouTube channel getting to see both our cool digs here, me and Chris at Horns High and Joey there in the 419, but you got it all decked out, looking good. Your new Metal Mayhem banner and the Jim Jones mask, and definitely got a Horns High feel. But as Chris pointed out, got the 419 records there at the bottom of the banner, which is great. So very, very cool. All right.
When's that first album dropping, Punky?
I know, right?
Now
it's funny that I put that on there because I'm always going to be FTA Records,
Right.
But
No,
for the
that's
banner,
funny.
it was like 419.
No,
I had to
that's
do
great.
something 419,
Of course, definitely, dude.
Yeah, I wonder if the person making it was like, "Oh, Jesus."
There was a moment too where next to the where the hands are or whatever, the bloody handprints, I was going to use Punky Brooks's picture because I thought that was hilarious. But I was like, I don't know. I'm
Probably not a good idea.
Yeah, it's a little close to home right now.
You don't
dude.
need somebody following you home, and
I don't want Garth Brooks whooping my ass.
Yeah, right? Garth Brooks. That's great. So I stumbled on this one on YouTube. You know how that is. We've talked about it before. I was just like, what the fuck? Just because of some of the characters they've got on this. We're going to get into it, but the documentary that we watched, just so fucking brutal, but at times almost funny. The accents were really cool.
Oh, yeah, and the docs and
really,
shit,
really
yeah.
strong accents on those documentaries. But I knew it would be a good one for us to do. It's been about 6 months or so when I first heard about it, maybe longer. And, they finally got their way onto the schedule. But definitely a good one to do to kind of palate cleanse, to get back into our zone, because we got some really nasty ones coming up here. And part of that was last month was crazy with the remotes. We did 2 remotes, so we had to kind of dial back a little bit on the subject matter, only because we were at one in particular in a public place with like people walking by, and the people at the haunted house, they know what we do, but they were like, can you just kind of watch
Kind of
that?
like, look.
Yeah, and I didn't see any little kids
say
coming
cunt.
close, but yeah, just trying not to be too brutal. But tonight, it's
and
nice
that's like with
it don't matter.
with my metal segment, we kind of did the same thing. 'Cause
Right.
I was going to do anal cunt on my last metal segment, but out of respect for we were doing it at the Painted Rave.
I know. I was like, Joey, would there be any way you could do something? No, I got thinking about that. I'm like, Stephanie's going to be there. Like, I don't need some kind of weird incident going on.
So after that, now coming back with the Shankill after our October
Fuck yeah, back to
anal
brutality
cunt
for real.
metal,
and then to find out that her favorite word, never heard of this, a female's favorite word, the word cunt. So she would have been totally fine with us doing anal cunt, but I was like, I didn't want to take a chance. So yeah, we're doing that.
The first Goremonger shirts that I ever printed, real big on the back in block letters, it says "fucking hate cunts"
Yes.
in white. But the cunts is in pink, but it's like white pink.
Sweet.
But when I put that shirt out, like honestly, probably half the people that fucking gave me props on that were females. They were like, "Oh, that's fucking awesome! I love that."
Is that
I was like, "You hate cunts too, I guess." So yeah.
Is that the fucking hate cunt shirt I got? Did you do 2 different ones?
Well, no. You got the album cover one.
Yeah.
Then
Okay.
The first shirt I did was my logo with Jason above it.
Gotcha.
Then the
All
back
right.
said "fucking hate cunts." But yeah.
Cool. Well, definitive word on the Shankill Butcher story is apparently in the book written by Martin Dillon. I'm kind of bummed I didn't get this because I found one real easy on eBay, but it's called The Shankill Butchers, A Case in Mass Murder. It's supposed to be very good. The author had some really unlimited access to all the police files, everything they had on the Butchers. So he got a lot of stuff that other people didn't have access to, talk to people others didn't have access to. And just to note, what you read about or watch, the Shankill that we're talking about, or Shankill, is a neighborhood in Belfast. So sometimes they refer to it as the Shankill. They're meaning the neighborhood. So in case you're wondering why we use the way we phrase some of this, it's because that's how, they were talking about it on the documentaries and stuff. But there is a Shankill Road, which is the main road that goes through the neighborhood, but the neighborhood's got that same name as well.
I like that fucking name, though. If you pronounce
It
it
is,
the
it's
other way,
cool.
Shankill.
Shankill, I know that.
It's like a prison thing. How'd he die? Oh, it was a Shankill.
Yeah, he was up on Shankill, yeah. Now, Chris, with any gang, there's got to be a leader.
Yeah.
And for the Shankill Butchers, that guy was old
Lenny Murphy.
Yeah,
He
the guy
introduced
that
the
did that
podcast today.
promo for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty nice of him.
Yeah, he fucking from Belfast, and he's political fucking shit and liked violence, and he took care of things the way he wanted to, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, he was like insanely politically active, very, very, militant about it. Very rough time period in Ireland. I mean, kind of like our 70s, race riots and race wars
Right.
and all that kind of shit going down. And these guys were, having their own issues over there. So it was an extremely violent time that this whole stuff was going on. So that could have certainly been a distraction for police and everything else. Now, Joey, I mean, speaking of that, I mean, you got the Catholic nationalists and the Protestant loyalists. And this shit goes back to like the late 60s when all that started.
Yeah, this is a fucking deep-rooted beef going on, and definitely fucking way more Protestants in the situation than there were the Catholics. So the Catholics
Right.
are
For
sure.
like the minority.
Yeah, Northern Ireland, yeah.
And now, while we're talking about this, while obviously there's a religious aspect to it, that's not even really what this was. What this came down to for these people, because their view or their side, Protestant or Catholic, was how they fucking saw their lives and their livelihood.
For
like
sure.
that's how they viewed themselves. So it was more a pride thing, and so it was like us against you, not so much my religion against your religion.
Right. It was just
It
that
was like
usually
everything
the
we stand for.
Catholics sided with the rest of Ireland.
Yeah.
And the Protestants in the northern part didn't agree. So the fact that they, like you correctly point out, it wasn't really a beef with the religious side. It was just the religious side was tied to their political side.
right.
And the political side is what was the incendiary device here that just lit this place up. I mean, into the 90s, I was surprised that it was going on
and
that long.
honestly, the issues between the North and South Ireland are something that's still occurring today.
Oh, sure.
It was like really, really bad through the early 2000s or mid 2000s or whatever. You know what I'm saying? 2010 and shit. But
The 2010s.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it's like now, but no, that's a serious situation going on over there that hasn't really ever let up.
No, you're right. You are right. But these guys going out doing what they were doing sure as fuck isn't helping anything that was going on there. So 1921, they got their independence from the British, and Ireland was broken down into two countries. So you have the main part of Ireland that is now known as the Irish Free State, which is mostly Catholic, and some in the smaller northern part, which is, again, its own country, is made up of mostly Protestants. So that's where we're talking about with the whole Catholic and Protestant thing. So the tension
know how to
between
segregate a country, don't they?
yeah, I mean, it is weird that they break in those groups like that. But that small minority of Catholics, as Joey points out, is under fucking fire with this shit because they're in like wrong place, wrong fucking time.
Right.
And these dudes are fucking nuts, and they want to show like these extreme acts of violence to, put their point across.
It's like, we don't accept you around here. Don't fucking be here, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating story, and I mean, even in our own country, of course, we all know that we went through a civil war. So I think it's kind of an unfortunate thing, of course, but it's a natural thing or progression when you've got people that opposed,
Right.
in this case here. But I read that during this whole time, they approximate 3,600 people have died and 30,000 were wounded. So, I mean, 30 years of it, 60s into the 90s. But as Joey correctly points out, it's still never totally gone away. To some degree, there's still some of that animosity. No, you really can't. Now, Chris, I never really understood the whole thing with the fighting in Ireland. But as I mentioned, that article from 2021 on the History Channel website was very helpful, but I think it sets the groundwork for what we're going to be talking about.
It gives you an idea, it gives everybody an idea of like why they started doing it. It wasn't just like, hey, let's just go kill these people because we can. They had a reason they were doing it, and that kind of tells why.
No, I think that's a good point, and I will try to remember to link in
Not
the
that there's a
episode
good
description.
reason.
No, there's never a good reason to do that, but I'll try to remember to link in the episode description a link to that article in case anybody that's listening wants to check that out. Now, Joey, I know they're far from metal, but talking about the band U2 and that song "Sunday Bloody Sunday" is kind of about this whole situation.
Yeah, it's definitely about the situation, and I mean it's an iconic song,
right?
Yeah, I don't know. Some people might not look into the deeper meaning of songs and just
Right.
view it as a hit song. I guess, but
right.
no, if you look into the lyrics and what that song's about, it's definitely referring to what was happening.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I Googled it to see what it exactly was about. And it talks about this 1972 altercation in Northern Ireland that involved some protesters and British soldiers, and the Catholics were the ones that were murdered. 26 died in that incident. So pretty crazy.
Fucking U2 is like big Irish activists. I don't remember which side, but
right.
I remember them being huge, like, supporters of one part of Ireland, talking about it politically all the time.
Okay, interesting.
I remember back in I think it was 2008, pretty sure. Anyway, whenever I lived down in Texas, we ran into this guy, and I'm pretty sure that we ran into him through a fucking show or something. It was weird. He was like over in the U.S., kind of like on tour, but basically just picking up shows where he could and just traveling. It was pretty cool. But anyway, we saw him at a show. His name was Rick. He was from Northern Ireland, and he had a band called Flesh Impaled. It was a one-man.
Oh, wow.
We ended up hanging out with him, and he fucking stayed with me and Texas Dave for a couple days
Nice.
Down outside Dallas, and I put him on a show that I had going on. Like, it was a big show, too, like, probably the biggest I ever did with Anal Blast and Insidious Discrepancy. It was really dope. But he played that. But anyway, he would tell us, about how messed up stuff was over where he was at, and, how he had trouble even traveling or even putting out music and things like that because of just how serious the situation was over there and the climate.
That's
or whatnot.
fucking crazy, man.
Wow. And when he went back over to Ireland, like I stayed up with him for a little while through email and stuff, and then after a while, I lost track of him, and I've never ever heard from that dude again. Never saw nothing like musically, and I always wondered what happened to that dude. But he definitely like, you know, gave me a little more insight to how fucked up it was over there, because I didn't even realize it back then, you know.
Yeah, I was, you know, honestly reading and prepping for this. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I found out that I was like, man, I never realized it was to this degree. You know, it was really, really bad. So, I mean, what a terrible time to be there, I'm sure, you know.
Our boy fucking Wasted Jesus in Chicago is like fucking infatuated with the IRA shit and all that shit now.
Bro.
Yeah, man. Like he went real. I thought at first he only got into it because I think he was like messing around with a girl that was Irish or something like that. But like he took it to a whole new level, and that dude hasn't stopped like studying and researching and like checking out all the fucking I don't know.
Wow. Oh, his tattoo artist is great.
Yeah. He tried to get the fucking Irish flag on his wrist, and the dude who did it fucked him up. It was bad,
dude, it was so gross.
So we give him lots of shit now.
That's funny. Well, definitely tell him don't go up to the Shankill if he's going to be supporting that shit, because that could get kind of dangerous. Now,
I tell him we're talking about this. He might listen to it. Fucking.
Oh yeah,
just because of that. So
for
if
sure.
you do listen to it, Mike, we're talking about you.
Now, the leader of the Shankill Butchers, we mentioned Lenny Murphy. He's from the Shankill, a tough working class neighborhood. Again, as we said, in Belfast, which is in Northern Ireland. At 16, he joins the UVF, which is the Ulster Volunteer Force, which is what we've been kind of talking about, the sympathetic to the cause of Northern Ireland, who wanted to stay with aligned with England, but it was the rest of Ireland that wanted to be separate. So this is, you know, his cause, very active. He would, though, I thought this was very smart, he would attend the trials of people being tried for crimes, you know, like gang violence and things like that, to learn what the laws were,
right?
So that he would know what things to stay away from. That's pretty fucking smart.
That is pretty goddamn smart.
You know, so that's why I said that these guys are a smart version of the Chihan plan, you know.
And it's sitting in trial. If you go on, watching all those, if you go on trial for something, you like got a list of what to avoid fucking as to what to say or whatever.
What the lawyers are saying.
Yeah,
so you're like, okay.
I've been studying. I figured I was going to be here one day. I've been studying for this day my whole life.
Exactly. So old Lenny Murphy putting the work in. He would attend these trials, though, with anything that applied to like military groups, things like that. So very, very smart, very scary smart, that's for sure. And like we've said so many times, I remember the Texas 7 was one that jumps out at me. That guy that led that. If that guy would have used his fucking brains for something fucking
other than
good,
crime,
god damn, you know what they could have done. And I think Lenny Murphy probably is similar to that, with really a smart dude. I don't know what the fuck made him what he is, but definitely a awful situation. You know, if he would have just used it for good, though, it's just too bad. So September of 1972, Lenny Murphy kills a guy over the fact he was selling weapons to some people that Lenny didn't like.
I mean, that's good enough reason for anything.
I
right?
guess, you know. Lenny has an accomplice, old Mervyn Carter, get arrested for the murder. Lenny and his accomplice, Mervyn Carter, get arrested for the murder. But while in prison awaiting their trial, Mervyn is suspected of being a snitch.
Jailhouse snitch. Like,
so
I'll give you fucking information if you help me out.
Exactly. And Lenny gets a little nervous about this, so he decides he's going to rough him up and then take it a step further and gets him to swallow a bunch of cyanide. And before he dies, he writes this confession out that says only he was involved. Lenny had nothing to do with it.
Very suspect, man.
Exactly. Like the note from Epstein's mother, you know, in Welcome Back, Kotter. You know. I know that's dating me, but whatever. Chris, now Murphy ends up going to trial, and he's acquitted because of some police fuck up and that confession from old Mervyn, which I think that's about as much a bullshit as I've ever seen.
Dude, for real, like, this guy just happens to fucking, after he's going to tell you something, he decides to kill himself and leave a confession note saying, no, it was just me. I wasn't going to give you, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, but it's definitely bullshit, but I just thought that was funny. Now, they even had a witness that said they saw Lenny pull the trigger.
Yeah.
But he still gets off on the charges, which is kind of crazy.
I don't understand how.
But he ends up doing some other shit and ends up doing 3 years. So he gets put away. Again, another similarity to our Chihan gang with the leader getting put in prison.
And running it from jail.
And running it from his jail cell. So now Joey old Lenny gets out of prison, though, in 1975. And goes the family way for a while, huh?
Yeah, he gets himself a wife, they have a kid, and I mean, he's hanging out, all the bars, all the spots that, drinking his pints or whatever he's doing.
Right.
But really what he's doing is trying to get his fucking boys together that he's going to have go on a rampage with him and fucking take care of business because he's still not over that shit.
No.
Yeah, he's like, we're getting a gang together and we're going to fucking take care of these motherfuckers.
Yeah, so he's like hanging out in the pubs, amassing his army together of these crazy bastards that think what he thinks.
Nothing like a bunch of drunk Irishmen.
Yeah, with meat cleavers. Yeah, so very, very fucked up. So he's getting this gang back together again and, gets a few core people with him, the ones he can really trust. One of those would be his brother, who is, I thought this is funny, known as Mr. B in some of the the transcripts.
Yeah, they never say his name and shit.
Yeah, and another accomplice known as Mr. A. So we got Mr. A,
as
Mr.
a brother,
B.
I'm going to be like, fuck you, I should be A. What the fuck is
right.
happening, dude?
Yeah, that's true. So this
Yes, Mr. B.
Yes, Mr. B.
This is how they were addressed in that book, apparently, that I mentioned earlier. Also, there's a group of what Lenny calls his sergeants, and they are William Moore, who's an important player in this, and Bobby Basher Bates. That's a good fucking name. Good gangster name. Kind of like,
I think Dave from Levidity got it from this fucking case. Dave Basher.
Oh, that's funny. I got it now. Yeah, for sure. I'm thinking of Whack Whack is another one that reminds me of this. That would be a good, pair there. Bobby Basher Bates and old Whack Whack in a killer cage match. It could get kind of brutal.
That'd be fucking violent.
Yeah, definitely.
You really want to get into it with Bobby Basher?
What the fuck?
So William Moore formerly works in a meat processing plant.
Oh, he's got skills just like Catherine Knight, bro.
I know. I thought the same thing about Catherine Knight, but this motherfucker's got, fuck, man, I got access to all these knives and meat cleavers. I could take care of everybody. I got skills. Sound like he's ready to throw down in a killer cage match,
Fucking right.
Another one.
Oh, he is ready to go.
Yeah, we could have done just a Shankill killer cage match tonight. Could have been
with all
wild.
the players in the game. Yeah.
Another guy that was part of this whole mess.
The variable could have been fucking the Iceman.
Oh, there you
shit.
go. Oh, boy.
Oof.
Another guy who was involved here, too, Sam McAllister. He was this big bastard who would intimidate people. And so the gang shows up at a bar in nearby Millfield, and they find out that 4 of the employees are Catholic. And so, I mean, do they go around, like, asking people,
Hey, what religion are you?
Protestant or Catholic? Protestant or Catholic?
I could see that.
Like really fucking weird. But they find out that these 4 are Catholic.
They probably wearing their rosaries and shit. They're just like,
I get maybe. I don't know. But Murphy shoots 3 of the 4 of them and then orders one of the others to kill the 4th. We're talking about 2 men, 2 women gunned down in this bar just for being Catholic. And this is October 1975. So this is kind of the kickoff to just what's going to fucking happen here.
nonstop rage.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Protestant thing, Chris, this rivalry with the Catholics, but like we were saying, is it that's the issue, or the whole Northern versus the rest of Ireland, which we certainly
Basically
would agree.
the
It's
same.
probably that more than anything.
Yeah, basically that. I mean, the religion, I'm sure, has a part of it because, like you said, it's their areas. That's where they're at.
Right.
I don't like you, and their political beliefs, and then just it's basically like our Civil War, like you said, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it's crazy though, Chris. We were talking about this in the pre-show meeting. Was the whole religion thing and how religion just starts so much fucking shit. I mean, it's unbelievable how much of that there's been.
that's the cause of. Other than oil, I think religion's the biggest part of war.
Yeah, it really
Like, for
is.
real.
I mean, Joey, we see it all over the world. I mean, you talk about the Muslim extremists, the Nazis, the Spanish Inquisition, and on and on and on. I mean, it just never fucking ends.
Yeah, and I mean that's something that you're tapping into people's fucking primal beliefs, their fucking upbringing beliefs. I mean, these people, like,
Right.
you're telling them something and they're not ever going to believe anything else, and when you got
The
somebody that's that
fanatics.
strong about it, yeah, if you're feeling that strong about it, then you're not going to fucking let people fucking talk shit on you,
Right. You're not going to let it go.
So
Right.
yeah, I mean, it's always going to be something that's going to be around. Not to mention, it's also fucking relying on the fact of the ultimate question in life is, what's there after life? Is there something after life? And
Right.
religion is something that explains that. It gives you a fucking answer, or it gives you,
Right, dude.
a
It
reason
tells you
to
this is-
continue to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't
mean,
know.
A lot of people look at religion as just kind of a way to keep the masses in line, and the people that are down and out, that would never carry on, they just kill themselves because what do they have to lose if they're miserable? Nothing's ever going to change, but this gives them hope, that if they push
Yeah.
through, there's something at the end. And I don't think that inherently that's not a bad thing. I think when you get into these like fanatics or money gets involved, then that's when it starts to pollute it and distort it, and it becomes something that I think is very ugly and very hurtful, and like we've been saying, causing fucking war after war and all sorts of
Yeah.
fucking drama. So
I think it's just inevitable. It's like religion has caused more death than anything ever, like,
For
in my
sure.
opinion.
Yeah.
And that's probably a fact, and
Right.
but at the same time, it's something that no one's ever going to let go
'Cause that's-
of,
Right.
Even if like Christianity fell in some of those religions and then something else takes over, there's always going to be something.
Exactly.
Right.
And the people that are of the majority that fucking believe in that, they're gonna have power in the world in some form or another. That's why
Yeah.
Catholics and Protestants even to this day are still so deep rooted and have fucking money flowing through their systems and stuff.
yeah, no, I agree with you, dude. I agree with that. So the gang is using the second floor of the Brown Bear Pub in Shankill, which is near Lenny's home. This is their regular meeting place. So November 1975, a month after that incident at the bar where they killed the 4 Catholics.
It's like, hey, meet Bobby Basher Bates at the Brown Bear Bar.
Yeah, exactly. Say that 10 times fast, right?
Right.
So Murphy and his gang are roaming the streets in areas where they would expect to come across Catholics. So they go hang out outside at the Catholic New Lodge, and they're just creeping out there in this fucking black taxi cab, ready to just go fucking nuts. William Moore, the guy I mentioned earlier, he's the owner of the cab, and like I said, he becomes a more, part of the story as things unfold. So they come upon this fucking 34-year-old man, this poor bastard, father of 2. He's Catholic. He's walking at 12:40 a.m. Probably not a smart thing, but, I don't know if he's working late or whatever. The dude's taken to the Shankill, beaten horribly, And I saw this, Joey, that they were shoving a beer glass into his head, but I don't know how you would do that unless like your skull is like mush, you know? I mean,
right, unless they fucking broke it and were fucking impaling it with it.
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, Jesus.
Whatever it was, regardless
not
of what you
good.
look at it, it was brutal.
Yeah, not good. These dudes are just fucking nasty as hell. They later took him and dumped the body in an alley because, like I said, they like doing the public display, where Murphy slit his throat so deep he nearly decapitated the man. So
That wouldn't be the last time that shit happens either.
true.
It kind of blows my mind that, you know, they commit these crimes, and like you said, they want to leave them in a public place because they want the message to come out there and shit.
Right.
It really blows my mind that they never fucking bombed Catholic churches or anything like that.
Yeah,
or
they didn't
sat
fuck with
outside
any
one and gunned a bunch
explosives.
down. Yeah, no, something on a bigger level than just a few
Finding random
homicides at a
people,
time.
yeah.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, that's good, right? But maybe, you know,
That is good.
Maybe he
yeah.
thought about it and thought the risk was too high from his courtroom, you know.
Sitting in on all the trials
Yeah, I
and
mean,
shit.
he was a smart guy for sure. So, yeah, this poor guy, this 34-year-old guy, just fucking nasty shit. Now, Chris, the family would say the man was beaten so badly they had to have a closed coffin. So
That's
pretty vicious.
if you're taking that kind of a beating that you can't even have an open casket at your funeral, the violence is real, and they had no remorse and didn't give a fuck what they were doing at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. The Joey, they don't wait. A few days later, there's some fighting, though, within the ranks of the Shankill Butchers. What was the deal with that?
It always seems like that's an issue that, you know,
Right.
you're going to have happen whenever you got these situations with these gangs and shit. I don't think we've talked about any of them where there hasn't been some kind of fucking altercation.
Right.
Yeah, amongst themselves, yeah.
Right. But, so, you know, there's two of them that get killed. Murphy himself, he fucking pistol whips one guy and then fucking shot him, like, in front of the fucking gang.
Right.
And, you know, it's just, I think in his situation, I don't know, you're not going to be the leader of the gang if you don't follow through on what you're fucking coming
Right.
with.
Yeah,
And
you got to
this
show
dude's-
them, don't fuck with me, or this is going to happen
Yeah.
to
Right.
you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he was like, I'm over it. This dude's fucking, I'm over it with this dude, and fucking, I want everybody to know right now that we're fucking meaning business.
Right.
You know, we fucking go out and kill these motherfuckers, but this dude to me is also the ops, and fucking, I have to, you know,
Right.
get rid of him.
Exactly.
And he was like, y'all are gonna watch me do this and respect that.
Oh, yeah. Definitely showing, you know, ruffling feathers just to show he means fucking business. I think that's a good point. So, Joey, a few days later, there's some fighting within the ranks, and like we were saying, but you know what made me think about this was the Frankie Carbone in the freezer, right?
Yeah.
So that's such an iconic thing. Like, I love those memes when it's cold out. You know, it's like I
Right.
thought I was cold, but I'm not Frankie
I'm not
Carbone
Frankie.
in the freezer cold. You know, I just love that stuff. But you know, when you think
And
of
it's
the
like-
Took them 2
infighting,
weeks to thaw them out.
yeah, the infighting, it just you can't help but think of that Goodfellas stuff.
It's like
you know?
fucking Bronx Tale, where he was like,
Yeah.
where he's telling him, he's like, those people don't love him, they fear him.
Fear
Right.
him. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, Bronx
and that's
Tale's
how
a
it's
great
Such a
movie.
great fucking movie.
That's
man.
how Murphy wants it. That's how Murphy's trying to come across.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you're
he
going to
was
fear
like-
me or you're going to die. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So now they got 2 more male victims and given the same treatment as the 34-year-old. They're snatched up, tortured, throat slit with a butcher knife by Lenny himself. So now the media is getting involved, of course, and running stories in the newspaper, and that's where the whole Shankill Butcher thing comes from. Locals hated being known for this.
Oh,
and
I'm sure.
wished
The media was a huge reason all that shit came about.
Oh,
too.
it always is. You know, they
yeah, they
snatch on
labeled
those
it, and
names.
they, oh god,
Yeah, and these people were pissed off.
Why? I mean, wouldn't you be like,
Well, yeah, you know, Be
I mean, how
like the
would you
Walnut Street Butchers.
I was
you know?
just gonna say,
I wouldn't
yeah.
like that very much.
You're like, oh wait, this is where I live.
So locals hated it, and Lenny's, he's from the neighborhood, so there's more than one reason for him to call them the Shankill Butchers. It's definitely got a cool ring to it.
Yeah, it does.
And it sells newspapers, and we know if it bleeds, it leads, and this certainly was bleeding profusely. The killings were happening, and that's what's going on. Now, I don't know if you guys saw the doc where they interview, we mentioned earlier, Countess May Blood. Okay, now you're hearing that right.
Maybe.
I saw this on the screen. There's this older lady with this like really thick fucking accent, okay?
She thick.
Going the fuck off about the Shankill Butchers. I mean, like, totally fucking hating on them. But the name at the bottom of the screen said Countess May, M-A-Y, Blood. Her name is May Blood. Okay.
And she's a countess.
And she's a countess.
I don't think Punky's going to appreciate that too much.
Oh,
Yeah, 'cause he
boy.
crip, yo.
That's
He crip
true.
as fuck.
Yeah.
True. So
He gonna fight her.
She was just a fucking badass, and she was like very, very politically involved. She's part of the Northern Ireland Women's Coalition. I Googled her and found her Wikipedia page, talks about her political career. She was very accomplished, but I just thought, what a cool fucking name. And she just really thought they made the neighborhood look terrible, and obviously it did. And I just saw that May Blood died 11 days ago, recording this on October 21st. That'd be 2022. So she just died, but the accent was great. And Joey, I know you said you watched it. What did you think about her?
Yes. She was a character. Let's just put it
Definitely
that way.
very feisty,
Yeah. R.I.P. That's pretty wild that she just passed away as we're doing this episode.
Right. That would have been awesome to get May Blood on an interview.
Dope
That would have been
shit.
bad.
That would have been
fuck.
awesome.
Oh my
That would have
God.
been bad as fuck. Yeah, so poor May, but definitely led a full life, and like I said, very, very down on the Shankill Butcher thing, especially because that's where she was from as well. Now, Chris, just like any time shit like this is going on and the media's covering it,
Oh, it gets out of control.
people
bro.
are freaking out.
Yeah, and obviously these guys are going around, and the main connection between these guys is they were Catholic, whatever.
Right, killing Catholics, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the victims. That was the main connection, Catholic.
Right.
But then they're interviewing families, and they're finding out, wait, hold on a second, that dude wasn't even Catholic.
I know,
Why?
there were some, it's like, oops.
Oh, they got the wrong guy.
Right.
And they're probably like, after they killed him, like, shit, we got the wrong guy.
Yeah, these people need to wear like name tags or something.
It's fucking it's just so it throws them off from killing the Catholics. If you throw a Protestant in there every now and again, it's like, oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. You're right, though, that, they were just sloppy and not always killing the right target.
Right.
Joey,
I want to know how they knew, how they thought about,
exactly
that dude's a Catholic. We got to kill that
Other
one.
than coming out of that Catholic club or whatever.
Right, unless
they
you
were
saw
hanging out.
coming out
Other
of
than that, I don't know how you would know. Unless they're like swinging the rosary
Like I said,
around.
wearing their rosaries and whatnot.
I don't
dude.
know. Dropping to a knee and taking a wafer. I don't fucking know.
It's not like they're
represent.
Yeah, it's not like they're a Hasidic Jew with the big long sideburns, yo. You can point them out real quick.
You can. Now, Joey, the police always hate being under a microscope, and this is just going to create that,
Oh yeah. This is like, everybody wants this shit fucking stopped. Like you said, it's happening in broad daylight.
Right.
It's just fucking nonsense and ridiculous to fucking most of the fucking common people that are living in these fucking areas.
Right.
Not to mention in the Shankills. And, you know, it's like, hey, cops, why don't you fucking do something about this?
And
you guys seem to be able to fucking take care of a bunch of other fucking situations.
Right.
You got me in the drunk tank last night, but you can't figure this shit out?
Yeah, I mean, they really felt that as the Catholics felt that they were being singled out, and if the victims were Protestant, maybe they would have done something about it, which is interesting,
Yeah.
But I did see, they're driving around in this black taxi, but that was common.
Yeah, they said there was like hundreds of black taxis.
Yeah, because Belfast was using the London used taxis, and most of those were black. So that's how they ended up there in Belfast. So pretty interesting. So they're blending in very well with the black taxi that William owned. Now the cop who's looking to shut these fucking guys down is another interesting character, old Jimmy Nesbitt. This guy's a little feisty as well. And Joey, you watched that. He definitely had the real thick accent, and he got a little testy a couple times. Felt like he was, kind of being. When the interviewer talked about how the people thought they weren't doing their job
and shit, right?
He was like, well, this is what we did day and night. Like, we were very committed.
This ain't no bullshit.
Yeah, and I don't think he was like mad at the guy, but you could tell it definitely hit a nerve with him. He's the chief inspector, the police detective. He's the one that believed all the killings were done by the same people. There was one witness who heard voices and described a black taxi. Again, that's not real helpful.
When they're everywhere.
When there's thousands of them.
It's like being in New York and being like, yeah, it was a yellow taxi.
Yeah, it was a yellow taxi. Right? Now, this is what would lead to William Moore's taxi being examined for evidence. But the gang was very good at cleaning themselves up and cleaning up after their mess, so nothing was found. Later, Murphy would make Moore get rid of the taxi because, he doesn't want any problems. And he ends up buying a yellow Ford Cortina.
So he went from a black
to a yellow,
taxi.
Which I'm thinking, that's not very inconspicuous.
Yeah.
And I Googled what it looks like, and it just kind of looks like a 1970s sedan. There's nothing really distinctive about it. But yeah, yellow. So it's like, not very, if everybody's driving a black.
Did they sell those in the
taxi.
U.S. or were they just European cars?
I'm not
made
sure.
by Ford.
It was Ford. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm just saying that happens.
Right. Exactly. So it was, pretty basic 1970s sedan, 4-door. He would use the car in subsequent murders. So, that's
and yellow was the best color to get.
I guess. Now, March of 76, Murphy decides to kill a Catholic woman in a drive-by, and he gets arrested for attempted murder because she lives, and he's getting visits from 2 of the gang members, and he tells them to continue the killings to help draw the attention away from him. And ends up pleading guilty to a firearms charge and gets 12 years. So he's not going anywhere.
And the fact that he's still able to control these people while he's in prison, no, you still got to go fucking kill
a lot of these gangs are like that.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's
and fucking Charles Manson.
Right.
He's like, hey, go do some similar killing so they think the dude's still out there so I can get out of here.
Yeah.
Right.
It's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. The control that they have over people is
on a smaller level, you got fucking Angelo or fucking Ken Bianchi.
Right.
On a smaller level, but he had that female afterwards that he had to go out try to do a similar
doing some stupid shit with his jizz.
Oh my god,
that was whacked. Oh god,
dude, the jizz thing, dude. It's like the goddamn Chicago Ripper crew coming on the tit and then eating it. Like, what the fuck is that?
Definitely fucked up. But he gets 12 years. But as we're going to get into here in a little bit, he ends up with a better deal than the rest of them, kinda. But we'll get to all that. Now, Chris, the gang keeps on killing. This time it's August of 76. two of them attack a man with a hatchet. Here we go with the hatchets.
That's what's up.
And
you're gonna do it right.
He dies from his injuries. So old William got those hatchets from the work place and brings him to the gang hideout.
They fucking got him pretty fucking bad. This wasn't a closed casket, but they had the. I listened to a girl talking about it. Like they had a thing coming up to hold his head up, and and they had his he was covered all the way up to his chin like this to hide the fucking wounds on his throat and shit. I was just like, damn it, you let him have an open casket too, but good looking on you.
Yeah, that's fucked up. It definitely hacked him up bad. Definitely very brutal, very metal.
Oh, it's super metal,
very metal. What kind of music do you think, Chris, a metalhead hacking up somebody with a hatchet would be listening to?
Obviously decapitated.
Decapitated. All right.
I mean, it's sitting right there in front of you.
Right. That's true. Now, Joey, do you think the cops were turning a blind eye? I mean, they always get that rap, when they can't figure out what's going on.
I don't know if they were turning a blind eye or not, but you got to think fucking Ireland's not a big place.
No, it's not.
I mean, to think that some of those cops are probably involved with those dudes somehow too, and they've got it in with the police force in some fucking level.
Right.
I would think so.
I mean, they're going to have their own, religious and political views of their own too. So they're obviously.
Exactly.
Right.
They're going to be like, oh, I'm Protestant. I don't have a problem with this. Fuck those guys or whatever.
It's very possible. Like you said, they're human beings. Now, so William Moore is now the guy in charge because Lenny's in prison.
Hold on. So I'm thinking of it like this. Imagine the cop was, say, a cop in fucking Mississippi in the 60s and 70s. On the side, he's going to KKK meetings and shit.
And a lot of them did, unfortunately.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. It's the same basic thing.
True.
Like, I'm out here supposed to be your protector, but on this other side,
when I'm off the clock, I'm
when I'm off
the other
clock,
side.
I'm like, fuck it, dude.
Yeah, it's very unfortunately that kind of thing did go on. But Lenny's still calling the shots, but he's inside prison. He's getting these visits from Mr. A and Mr. B. The killings continued with 3 more men being kidnapped, tortured, and hacked up with the hatchets again.
It said the torture that they inflicted on him was pretty fucking brutal too.
Yeah, I didn't see any details on that. That's why I wished I would have got that book.
Yeah, I didn't see the details, but they were explaining that it was bad.
Wow. Yeah, definitely some brutal shit. Multiple members of the gang were involved in the murders. The bodies were dumped in the Shankill to get that message out. Don't fuck with us. So William Moore gets arrested in 1977, and there are some opposing views about whether he was really in charge or one of Lenny's brothers was maybe running the show. I guess it doesn't really fucking matter.
Obviously, Lenny's still running it from prison, telling somebody what
exactly.
to do.
And I mean, the whole house of cards is getting ready to implode here.
Right.
Now, Chris, they finally slip up. May of 1977, they kidnap a guy in Belfast and take him. And what happens, man?
They torture him. They beat the fucking shit out of him.
Right.
And they cut him up, because that's what they do. They love cutting motherfuckers.
Right.
Hence butchers.
Right.
And they left him for dead in an alley. And
unfortunately,
he lived.
He lived.
And he was able to get to a lady's house, and they got the police. And guess what? Not good for you. Don't leave a witness, bro. Especially when it's your victim.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, they definitely, he learned that lesson from this. But Jimmy Nesbitt, that police inspector, he's on the case, and he comes up with a plan. Did you see this shit?
Yeah, they got a victim, from the Shankill Butchers, so they're like, okay, how about we take him, we'll drive him around in the area of the Shankills,
right.
See if he notices the people that assaulted him,
right?
And sure enough, he was able to fucking, point out at a couple of the guys.
Could you imagine that?
Which led the police right to him.
Could you imagine just cruising around all the time, fucking all day long
in a cop car?
In a cop car, but in the place that you almost got murdered viciously.
Right. Yeah, they said they had him in a disguise, but I don't know if it was like a mustache and like Groucho Marx kind
Still, it's not going to disguise the flashbacks you're having driving past.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, that's true too. So definitely pretty ballsy. But or I thought maybe the other one would have been those hillbilly teeth they sell like at Huck's.
Why you gotta talk shit about me, bro?
No, your teeth are all pretty. So under police interrogation, the gang members eventually admit their involvement. But many are, start retracting their statements because they don't want to get fucking whacked. Lenny Murphy and his brother, definitely not people to be fucking around with.
The pictures of them, they're pretty big dudes. I mean,
yeah, I didn't see a picture of his brother John, but I know that there was the one guy with him that was the big dude, but there was probably more than one. Retaliation, the Northern Ireland group would be the other concern he would have. Not only Lenny or the brother, but the group that they were a part of.
I mean, like, oh no, we got to protect Lenny's thoughts. Kill that guy.
Right. So I don't blame them one bit. These guys are fucking nuts. The trial of the gang members is going on 1978, 1979. In the end, 11 men are convicted of 19 murders. A total of 42 life sentences was the most ever in British history for one trial. Life without the possibility of parole. And the author of that book I mentioned, Martin Dillon, believes that many others escaped prosecution, and it doesn't surprise me at all. There had to be a lot more people involved in this, but they got who they got, and you can add,
and you got the main guy.
Yeah, and you add the 4 from the first incident at the bar to the 19. That's where they come up with 23. And Martin Dillon thinks the number's probably more like 30, but still a lot. Now, Chris, Inspector Jimmy Nesbitt feels they really missed the big fish because Lenny.
Yeah, he didn't get no life sentences.
No, he's doing a 12-year bit, so he's going to get out.
Like 12 years for fucking 23.
A weapons charge.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. A weapons.
What he was in there for.
Yeah, but still, how did he not get a life sentence?
I don't know, because I think his lawyers, I guess, were able to show he was in prison, so he wasn't doing anything.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's how it was.
You can't prove
but I'm
that he was
sure.
running it from the inside.
Maybe, that's why I really am thinking, the more I'm thinking about it, I think I am going to get the book just because now I'm more curious.
Like, what the fuck
May
is
have
going
to do
on,
a brutal
right?
rewind on this if I figure it out. So Joey Lenny gets out in 1982, and what the hell does he decide to do the first day he's out of fucking prison?
He's going to go fucking find a dude that's mentally challenged and beat him to death.
Yeah, what
that's the best
fucking
idea.
hell, dude.
I don't know if he was just like so pissed off while he was locked up. He was like, I don't give a fuck. When I get out, I'm fucking killing somebody. Because he already been killing people, so he fucking knows, the feeling.
But the day you get out of prison, that's what you do?
Yeah, because you've had all that pent-up anger.
I guess.
It's kind of like finally busting a nut for him, maybe. Maybe it was finally busting a nut for him,
Maybe.
And too, he was all about the image thing. Maybe he wanted to show people
Go
I'm
out there
fucking
and show,
back.
look, I just got out
Yeah,
today.
he's
Fuck
like,
you.
I'm still here,
Right?
motherfuckers, and now he starts assembling a new gang.
Yeah, he's putting a new group together. He's out of fucking control. A month later, in August of 1982, he shoots a dude in the head who considered to be an informer. So you know how he feels about that.
He hated snitches for
sure.
Yeah, dude, don't talk about me.
A month later, he kills a guy that he owed money to. So that's fucked up. Get this,
it makes sense. Now you don't got to pay him.
He poisoned the guy at a club in the Shankill, shot him from the back of a motorcycle while this dude's in a car. He's not trying to be
inconspicuous
chill,
at all.
He's just out there off the back of a motorcycle. By the way, the motorcycle being driven by Sam Mambo Carroll. So another good fucking gangster name.
They were riding nut to butt.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Mambo fucking riding that bike. He's on the back shooting this fucking guy.
Hey, look,
I mean,
look.
what
At
the
least
fuck?
Mambo wasn't behind him.
That's true.
Oof.
That's true.
Dude, that's some fucking action movie shit.
I know.
Just
straight
on a
up.
bike,
That's
just
what Jenny was
shooting
saying.
at motherfuckers.
Right?
Like straight up
God
fucking 80s,
damn.
90s action movie
Totally.
shit, dude.
A month later, though, the carnage continues. A guy by the last name of Cochran was kidnapped by the IRA. This infuriates Murphy, so he decides he's going to kidnap a Catholic to, like, retaliate. They torture the fuck out of this dude, pull all his teeth out with pliers, but 3 of them.
Oh my
Beat
God,
him
bro.
to death with shovels. I mean, this is like some brutal ass shit for sure.
Well, that's Goodfellas. Oh no, they used bats in Casino at the end.
Casino, yeah.
Or not Casino, Goodfellas. I mean,
Goodfellas, yeah.
I was saying Pesci's brother in the cornfield.
yeah, that's what. Yeah,
Casino.
okay, it was Casino.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was Casino. Now, Joey, I hope that the brutality is meeting your expectations with this one.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, definitely. And Chris, it feels good to
this
be
is a
talking
good
about
one.
killing again on Murder Metal Mayhem.
Man, you say that to the wrong person, they're gonna be like, "Hey, you need to watch these guys."
Exactly. Catch another band, right?
Right.
But this shit had to come to a bloody end. All these stories do. The IRA put a hit out on Lenny Murphy. He gets gunned down outside his girlfriend's house November of 1982. A van pulled up, and he dies instantly in a hail of bullets,
Just
just
goddamn
as these guys typically
unloaded.
go. Yeah. The IRA didn't deny it, but instead issued a statement to justify the murder or execution of Lenny Murphy. So, again, we're not taking sides here. This is definitely a hostile debate still today.
Right.
So
It's a
you
fucking
guys
eye
sort
for
it
an
out,
eye, man.
Yeah, we're just reporting some information here. But Joey, it's no surprise that Lenny's mom denies his involvement. Said my Lenny wouldn't hurt a fly. So
I mean, hey,
they all say that.
that's what a real loving, mother with fucking unconditional love, she's gonna forever say that about her kid.
That's true. That's true. So
And it's fun. It's funny because whatever you were talking about, wouldn't hurt a fly, and that's what she did say. But
right.
I just went to the Toledo Symphony and saw fucking Psycho with the orchestra playing the music
Right.
live, and that's what it reminded me of, because at the end of fucking Psycho, whenever Norman's sitting there talking in his mom's voice and the fly's on his hand, she's like,
Yeah.
see that fly? I wouldn't even hurt a fly. And that's what I was
Right,
thinking of when
yeah.
we were talking about that.
Right. That's funny. So Chris, his funeral's attended by thousands from that movement he was involved with.
No, he wasn't involved with shit, dude. Nobody. You don't get thousands of people from this one movement coming if you're not involved.
Yeah, definitely.
And fucking headstone. Here lies a soldier.
Right.
What
And
the fuck, dude?
Oh, Baroness Bay Blood had something to
No, it's
say about that.
Countess.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Countess Mayblood says she was like, no, fuck that. Not verbatim.
Right.
Right. She's like, no, my father was a fucking soldier who fought in 2 wars. Lenny Murphy isn't a soldier. He's a murdering thug. So that's all Countess Mary Blood's fucking thoughts on that.
Yeah.
And when that's your
Blood.
name, you gotta fucking
Talk some shit.
yeah. Come on, man.
So there were some members of the gang who were eventually released. Even William Moore eventually gets out, which I don't know how that was the case because he got no parole, but apparently he did. I'm not sure about it. I did read that there were a few other deaths during the reign of the Shankill Butchers that the police believe they could actually pin on them, but I don't know. It's been a while, and I'm not sure if that's even a thing anymore.
Right.
But hats off to Jimmy Nesbitt for finally bringing these guys down, and he also recently passed a couple years ago, Jimmy Nesbitt. But Lenny Murphy got his in the end, I mean...
He got
gunned
taken out the
down.
way fucking he took others out.
Exactly. And so kind of a fitting end to his story. But guys, anything to add to the Shankill Butchers, man?
I don't think I got anything.
Joey?
No. I think we covered the bases.
Yeah, I think we did too. I did my research by watching that good documentary on YouTube I mentioned. Really good. A couple of good articles. The one on the History Channel website was excellent. Not a ton out there on this, but there is stuff. You have to look. But that one documentary, I can't remember who put that together, but if you Google or search Shankill Butchers in YouTube, that'll be the one that comes up. And, maybe pick up that book. I know I am. I saw a couple on eBay for like $10, so they weren't that much, shipping and everything. So, it might be worth a read. I think I'm going to pick it up just to add to my library.
You might as
I've
well.
got such an extensive collection of books. I've been going on a tear with horror novels here lately, so true crime, not a bad thing to add either.
Never is.
No. Joey, I picked up a book that they claim is supposed to be more brutal than the Silence of the Lambs stuff, written in the 70s. Yeah, pretty interesting. So I've been watching some.
What's it called?
You would ask me that. I could tell you on a break. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, it's cool, but I picked it up on eBay for like $4.
Which book?
And pretty cool. The one by Shane Stevens, the one about
you told me earlier. I can't remember what you said it was.
So next week, though, guys, we're going to continue the brutality, getting into some Philip Jablonski, who is a serial killer, and that one I told you guys about in the text message, that's the one.
Oh, yeah,
That's the one to watch because it's really good. It's like an hour and something long, and it gets into all the details with this Jablonski case, which is fascinating. Killing in California and Utah, 5 women that they know of. There's probably more. 1978
There's
to
always
1991. Exactly. And so, who knows, but it's a good story. Some awful shit. Removing eyes, ears. In one case, he carved "I love Jesus" into the back of that woman's skin, which is fucked up.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, he's got an audio diary. He's got an audio diary, and we're going to play some of the clips too. It's creepy as fuck. I mean, listening to this guy record himself talking about his murders and stuff.
Oh my God,
it's
dude.
pretty awful. So the Shankill Butchers were brutal as hell, but Jablonski's definitely...